Good to go. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Hey, good morning. Thanks for streaming with us. We really appreciate it. I just wish I had better news for you. You know, I do have just a little glimmer of hope, but it's very little, and I'll get to that coming up in just a minute. For the most part, this heat wave is just going to continue. I don't see it weakening a whole lot. Here's the little part that that I was talking about just a second ago. Maybe the first part of next week, this high may weaken just enough to give us a very slight chance for rain and maybe knock the temperatures down just a few degrees. But other than that, I think this heat wave is going to continue. Heat advisories will likely continue. We're right on the bottom or right on the lower end of the heat advisory scale. We're just barely into the heat advisory criteria, but I think that may continue as well. And when is our next chance for rain? Unfortunately, again, maybe a week from now, early next week, and that is a big maybe. Matter of fact, I think we could go all the way into the middle part of August with less than quarter to a tenth of an inch of rain, and that is really bad news because you'll notice all of the grass is just drying up. It's all yellow and burnt, and matter of fact, the crepe myrtles are just really droopy. We need some rain. We need it bad. These trees and all the vegetation really hurting really bad. Okay, today is a yellow day, so that means we're going to have peak demand. Make sure and conserve your energy use between 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock this evening because energy matters. Don't use those big appliances. And 78 degrees. Set that thermostat and draw those blinds. All right, the rainfall, we're already behind. We're getting further and further behind. We did pretty good in May. Matter of fact, we were caught up on the year in May. But it has been really hot June and July, and now we've got a deficit. We're almost 6 inches below where we should be. By this time of the year, we should be close to 20 inches of rain. We're barely at 13, not even that, 12.92. And so far, July, very dry July, only 17/100ths of an inch at the airport. Del Rio not doing bad, but then again, Del Rio only picks up about 20 inches of rain a year, where we pick up 30, 31, 32 inches on average. Laredo is behind as well, only picking up 8 inches of rain so far there in Laredo. 34 days, that's what we've had so far this year, 34 days at 100 degrees or better. Now, we're not in the top 5 yet, but if this pattern continues the way I think it will, by the time we get to mid-August in a couple of weeks, I think we're going to be between 3rd and 4th place of all-time number of triple-digit days. We'll be somewhere close to 50 or very close to that, probably upper 40s. And we'll just have to see how the rest of August plays out and into September as to whether we'll get into the 50s. But right now, we're at 34 100-degree days so far for the year. Let's see, did not want to do that. Let's see if I can get back on track here. Hit the wrong button. Okay, 34 100-degree days, like I said, and we're not in the top 5, but we'll get there. Okay, so as we head through the day today, lots of sunshine. Don't forget the sunscreen. High today right at 102. Now, have you noticed this, that the max heat index values are coming down because everything is drying out so much? Instead of having a temperature of 102, but the heat index being 112, well, that's just not happening anymore because, again, just very dry. So down to about maybe 2 degrees above the actual ambient temperature. So today I'm expecting a heat index of 104 with the high temperature at 102. That 104, 105 puts us right on the edge of heat advisory criteria. So we do have a heat advisory until 8 o'clock this evening. Excessive heat warnings are in effect up towards Austin, kind of east of Austin, over towards College Station. The maximum heat index again this afternoon about 103, 104, but Tula could get close to 110, and in the hill country, heat index values there will be closer to around 100, and tomorrow, I think about the same. Matter of fact, for the next 7 days, heat index values should range between 104 and 108 degrees. Current temperature, we're sitting at 91. It's not even noon yet. 91 degrees, Pleasanton 94, Port Lavaca 93, Austin's already in the mid-90s at 95, and when you add whatever humidity we have, we've got a heat index already of 98. Look at Victoria, feels like 106, Port Lavaca feels like 102, and it's not even noon, and in Port Aransas, it feels like 104 degrees. Lots and lots of heat. Let's take a look at yesterday. Yesterday, our high temperature Let me roll this back a little bit. High temperature was 100. Now, this time of the year, well, I don't know if you know this or not, but Dallas-Fort Worth, like our average high temperature this time of the year, end of July, beginning of August, is kind of the peak of our heat, usually on average, 97. But Dallas-Fort Worth, average high temperature this time of the year is 99. For a short period of time, for a week or two, their average high temperature is actually higher than ours. 104, Dallas-Fort Worth, Wichita, Kansas, 102, Phoenix, 112, Salt Lake City, about 102, and Little Rock, 101. You know it's hot when Little Rock is at 101. Oh, by the way, let me go back just 1 second real quick if I can. I'm kind of running out of time, but I want to show you Minneapolis-St. Paul. Why am I talking about Minneapolis-St. Paul? They put out a little thing on social media, and Minneapolis, the high yesterday was 81. If you put all the last 7 days together, their average high, 89. Doesn't sound that hot, but some of their streets are buckling. Some of the highways are buckling there. I don't know if they use like a different asphalt or exactly what the problem is, but I saw social media, Minneapolis-St. Paul, they put that out, even though their average high temperature over the last week was only 89. Could you imagine if those streets were here in San Antonio? Okay. I kind of got off track a little bit, but I thought that was interesting. All right, so ridge of high pressure right on top of this. And by the way you measure this is in decameters. A normal ridge of high pressure that's really high is usually about 588, 590. This high here is about 597 decameters. So it's about, this ridge of high pressure about as high, about as strong as it can get. Very, very, very strong ridge. Okay, so the high just continues to dominate, continues to be right over the area. And here's the little glimmer of hope. Are you ready? There's a high in the Atlantic that's going to be very strong. That high that's over us now should translate and shift over towards LA and the Baja. And that's going to open the door for perhaps a little trough in between. That's a big maybe because the European model doesn't do that. And I think if this does happen Monday, Tuesday of next week, it won't last very long. So hopefully highs again early next week, upper 90s and not 100, and maybe a slight chance of seeing a thunderstorm in the afternoon. And then I think that high just builds right back in and slams the door shut on any kind of chance for rain. Okay, looking at the tropics, and by the way, the next couple of weeks, I don't see any kind of help or relief from the tropics as far as any kind of rainfall at all. There are a couple of systems that I'm watching way out there in the Atlantic, but they're going to stay out in the Atlantic, and they're definitely not going to come anywhere near Texas. So don't even, I'm not even worried about the tropics for the next couple of weeks at all. High temperature today, I'm going to go 102. We very well could hit 103. And by the way, 103, that is the record for the date. We could tie it, could get to 104, but anyway, I think about 103 or so. And both Tuesday and Wednesday, we've got a very high fire danger in portions of the hill country. And the drought, worst drought in the state, right here, right across the eastern hill country, including northern portions of Bexar County. And it's getting really, really bad. We need some rain. All right, let's take a look at the 7-day. I see no reason to change the temperatures very much at all. I think 102, 103, really all the way through the weekend. Heat index values may actually climb a little bit. Next week, or I should say the weekend, with a maximum heat index of 108. Really over the next 7 days, maximum heat index anywhere from 104 to 108, with high temperatures anywhere from 102 to 103. And again, early next week, perhaps that little glimmer of hope for a chance for a rain and also for the temperatures to come down just a little bit. But anyway, it just doesn't look good. We need some rain, but that's the way I see it. Okay, I got to do the noon show. Make sure and watch that. Make sure and watch us 4, 5, 6, and 10. And I'll be back first thing tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about this oppressive heat. And again, we really appreciate you streaming. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. All right, we'll see you later.